Right, all right. Hey guys. All right, so this is part two. If you didn't see part one, there's a free link right there in the description box. I'm sorry when these videos get longer, I'm having to break them into part one and part two when I live stream. Otherwise, they will not process for 24 hours and then it becomes quite a debacle. So, with that in mind, I'm not leaving comments on in this video because you guys already had the video where we talked about the winners for the 8th, and I don't want to confuse things. So, you guys already have part one where you can enter to win, okay? In this video, I'm going to keep comments off. So live chat will be visible while I'm live, but comments won't be on just because I don't want you guys to have to keep entering when you already have, okay? And that's for the tomorrow's advent calendar winners, okay? So where we left off in part one was like we were getting pretty juicy here. We had a situation where really what this fellow wants to ask the psychic is, how does she feel about me now? And the psychic is like, well, she loves you, but she's not going to reach out to you. And the psychic's already said, like, she's really wounded. She felt like she has to move on from you. She felt like it was toxic. She felt like you were mean to her. And he hasn't ever addressed any of that. It's more that he wants to know, does she miss me? And he doesn't want her to know that he's doing poorly without her, right? He doesn't want her to know that he's getting a psychic reading about her and he's petrified she'll know because somehow she always knows. And it's just kind of crazy because I feel like there's an awful lot of posing and posturing. And so let me just ask, since he's finally getting to the question that he wanted to ask, how does she feel about me right now, psychic? And psychic responds, she loves you, but she's not going to be reaching out to you. What is his reaction to that? Page of Swords, man, he's going to run out of there, go spy on her and see what's going on with her now. 7 of Cups. 2 of Wands, he's actually going to sit down and start trying to figure out, what do I say to this Queen of Swords? This is, we saw her as a Queen of Swords back in part 1. We saw her also as a High Priestess. That was on behalf of, the psychic saying, the person that you're asking about, is she psychic? Because it seems like she knows an awful lot about your energy. And he's like, yeah. So she maintains, and he maintains, she is somebody who expects real truth and clear communication, but she's also incredibly intelligent, very astute, and listens to her guides. But after hearing from the psychic, yes, she loves you still. She's also trying to move on from you. She thinks the whole thing was toxic. She got really hurt. And yes, she loves you, but she won't move towards you. I feel like that is him saying, oh, okay, so she misses me too. She loves me still. That's what he's been waiting to hear. Does she still love me? Now, okay, let me go ahead and spy a little, figure out what do I need to say to her. And then I think he's sitting here kind of tongue-tied. I feel like he's trying to figure out, what do I say to this Queen of Swords? So he went to see a psychic specifically to try to figure out, am I going to make a fool of myself if I reach out to her? He wanted somebody to tell him, well, she still loves you, so that then he can feel like, okay, then it's not going to be completely bizarre that I'm reaching out to her. The thing that I think still sucks is the amount of fear in all this, Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me in part 2, you guys. I just think that it sucks that there's so much fear in all of this for him still. The fact that he can't seem to just reach out, that he can't, he's got to know first, does she want me? Does she want me? Does she, cry herself to sleep over me? He doesn't want to do something unless there's a chance that he can get back with her, but he's still going to struggle with what to say. Are you asking the psychic anything else, or does the psychic have anything else that they say to you? Let me just round that out. Okay, so we do have 2 more cards. Knight of Wands, 7 of Swords. The psychic says, again, she thinks you were cheating on her. Her thought is that you aren't trustworthy. Okay, the psychic in this storyline is pretty like, wow. Like there hasn't been a nice message that has come out so far as the psychic saying like, this is what she's thinking. This is, her perception of this, like everything has been super negative from her perception. Everything keeps counting up. Like you hurt her. She's under the impression you were a villain who hurt her. She thinks you're not trustworthy and that you were cheating on her. Okay, hang on. What has he got to say in response to that, or think in response to that? Let's take a peek. It's so crazy because he's like, "Yay! Now I don't feel like a fool. Now I feel like I wasn't an idiot to fall head over heels in love with her. So she wasn't making fun of me. She thought I was making fun of her, which actually makes him feel better, like less like a fool because she's the one who feels like she got played for a fool by him. So wait a second. Are you trying to say you didn't cheat on her? Were you scared she was cheating on you? And that's where all of the attitude came from that you were refusing to address in part one. Did you think she was untruthful? You said she's a Queen of Swords, though, and an empath or a psychic herself. So I have a hard time believing that you thought she was cheating. But you keep being so worried that you looked like a fool. Why were you so scared that you looked like a fool, masculine? Two of Pentacles, Hermit. I don't know if somebody else made him feel like a fool before, or maybe he doesn't do that great in relationships. Maybe he feels like he's the butt of people's jokes. Maybe he feels like an outsider, and that got in his head and made him feel insecure, which then he exploded into, he was nuts about her. And then immediately felt like she's probably making fun of me. I'm probably pathetic that I'm so into her. And then pretty soon he's acting ice cold. And then she's feeling like he's withdrawing because he's a cheat, he's a liar, he's toxic, he's playing games with me. Now everybody's got hurt feelings. And yet there was never a reason for it other than it began with him maybe feeling like an outsider, not really knowing if he was accepted. Maybe he never felt very accepted. And then it was like, I really fell for her, but she probably felt like I was this weird, glomming onto her, pathetic. Like maybe this is why he has this hyper alerted sense of like, I don't want to be a fool. I don't want to be pathetic. I don't want to be somebody's fool. I don't want him to be making fun of me and behind my back, thinking that I'm some loser who's too into her when she's not that into me. And everything the psychic has said is, you hurt her. You made her feel like she got played. You made her feel like you were untrustworthy and toxic and cheating. And she's just trying to get beyond that. In this story, there wasn't cheating. In this story, there was the fear, or maybe the ego of, what if she's making fun of me? What if I'm the laughing stock? And that in turn made him behave in a certain way toward her. Thank God for the psychic in this case. Because it says like the messages that he's getting is helping to clear things up. But let's go ahead and let's check. Because what we haven't done yet is actually step to the side and say, Queen of Swords / High Priestess. The psychic's been saying a whole bunch of stuff on your behalf. How did you really think about things? Queen of Swords says, I thought he was my person. King of Pentacles, I thought he really wanted to give to me. I thought it was going to be spectacular. King of Cups, I thought he loved me. It was amazing. I thought he said these things that made me think he was, a double dose of King's energy. And then, fuck all. We got the Emperor in the reverse. And then he becomes this controlling, tyrannical, like all of a sudden the nice is gone. The giving, generous, loving is replaced by this ice cold, arrogant, demeaning, demanding douche. Put in all the D words. I'm sorry, but she's saying it was awful. The flip of the script was awful. Knight of Swords. And then they got really erratic. They were back and forth. They were I couldn't track who they were. Queen of Cups. And this is called the maze, but normally this would be the Wheel of Fortune. And she's like, and they did it right after I was so in love with them. But then their behavior, I saw two completely different sides of them and couldn't figure out with them buzzing around which version of them they were. So I was really confused about, is this person my everlasting love because I fell for them? Or is this person my lesson and my obstacle to get through so then I can get, beyond this confusion? I think she was like, I can't figure out if I'm being tested here or if they're testing me or what this is all about. We have Ascension, which would be the judgment card in any other deck. And I kind of think at the end of the day, she just had to like take it in stride and say, for what it's worth, I loved him. I must have met him at the right time. I'm not really sure what it's about, but I guess I had to just make peace with the experience as it was. So I would say in this storyline, the psychic has basically said something pretty similar to what she actually felt, confused by their behavior. They did a flipperoo in their actions. She still was like, I can't help it. I already fell for them, but they're a freaking nightmare and they're erratic and I don't get what's going on. All I can say is I'm going to have to just take the hit and say it is what it is. I don't know how to, there must have been a reason that I had to go through this with them. So I would say the psychic wasn't too far off in this storyline for this message, right? The messages that she's conveyed or he's conveyed to our masculine about this queen. So if he is, let's go back over to him. If he is going to be over here saying, I have to, now that I know she wasn't messing with me, she's been hurting over me, she misses me. Okay, and I'm not a fool. She really did want me. She still does, but she won't ever reach out to me. Okay, now I know I'm allowed to reach out to her. But what do I say? What are you going to say? Because there's a whole bunch to unpack in this mess, right? This became a big fatty mess for sure. What's going to happen here? The Girl of Swords. He's going to do some more spying because this would be the Page of Swords in any other deck. He's going to probably sit on that mountaintop and do some spying. And we already saw him with the Page of Swords back in part 1 from one of the other decks. I don't know where. I think it's over here. Wherever the card went. Yeah. We know he's sitting here trying to write things out, trying to figure out what to say. So he's back in that mode of what am I going to say? Let me spy on her some more. Let me see if I can find one. Maybe the words will come to me. What do I need to say to her? Hanged man, but instead he's just going to keep wasting time. Are you going back to the psychic? 5 of Wands. Here's even script written here. We got the snake. This is still Year of the Snake. This is a rattlesnake. Notice the pattern. Danger, danger. And then that butterfly for the transformation. And what's written here says, this is a spirit land. And I'm going to say this. The big message to him about what you need to write to her. You need to write from something within you. You need to write from a different version of you. Not the same version of you that sabotaged this so freaking bad, but the version of you that wants to do things different, which is the spiritual side of you, the side of you that's in love with her, even though you were so petrified. She was somehow mocking and making fun of you because you felt like an outsider or you were made to feel like the butt of a joke at some point in your life. And now you think you can't read whether or not that's happening to you again. You need to write from the version of you that is the spiritual self that knows you were connected to her, that knows she's truthful, that knows if she didn't like you, she would have told you. But you just couldn't trust it. And now you've gone and hurt her. So you probably need to write from that better part of yourself, not the ego part, not the fearful part, not the crazy, like freak out side of your brain that said she's probably making fun of me when you knew darn well she wasn't. She wanted to be with you just like you wanted to be with her, but you freaked out. You need to write from that part of you because that's the better part of you. And if you want to change anything between you and her, then you have to shed the old skin. You can't be the rattlesnake that bites anytime you feel threatened. You hurt her. You hurt the connection. So how else are you going to fix this other than to write from a different space within yourself, write from the best version of you? We got that Ace of Wands. He may draw some inspiration from song lyrics. There could be a song that he always thinks of that has something to do with her. I don't know if she has blue eyes, but I'm actually hearing that song because sad eyes never lie. I'm also thinking Baby Blue by George Strait was the color of her eyes. Baby blue, like the Colorado skies, like a breath of spring. She came along, and I still don't know why, but here's to you and whoever holds my baby blue tonight. Um, I don't know. I don't know if there's something specific about her eyes that really captivated him, but there may be a song or melody or something like that, or just a single line out of a song that also happens to reference eyes. Maybe he talked about her eyes, maybe he liked the color of her eyes, whatever it was. But there could be a specific, just a little tiny, you notice we only have a little clippet of the song here, right? A little teeny tiny couple bars of music. But that might be where the message is that he really needs to extrapolate. It's like whatever the better version of himself, really how he sees her, how he thinks about her, those words might not come from his own like poetry, but maybe from someone else's poetry. That's what songs are so great about, is like they say things that we all feel, but someone else already put it to words for us, you know. And maybe he needs to convey that, because this Ace of Wands is about inspiration. It is, you know, maybe he needs to say, like, you remind me of a song, you remind me of this, the whole situation reminds me of this, and maybe that would tell the story better than he could find the words to describe it himself. A song about, you know, I freaked out and got scared, not because I didn't love you, but because I did. Thought for sure you were going to mess with my heart. So, you know, like maybe there's some song that like explains it beautifully. Maybe that would be the better thing for him to like say, this is what happened. It says it better than I could describe. It just feels like there's inspiration here. And if he can describe what he needs to that way, it may come out better, since he seems to be sitting here really at a loss for words. Will he get the message figured out? Eight of Swords, normally we would say no, but this is a triumph over it, because we have that horse racing forward and jumping over the obstacles. Look, it is not easy for him to find the words to say this, but I think if he stops trying to find his own words to explain it, he'll have better luck. Yes, I think he will eventually get around to saying everything crystal clear. I don't know if it'll be enough to course correct this, but King of Pentacles, he would finally be talking to her again as the person that he showed himself to be at the very beginning. The very beginning, she said he was a King of Pentacles, he was a King of Cups, he acted like he loved me, and then he turned into that freaking Emperor in the reverse. He would be speaking to her as the King of Pentacles once more. So yes, but we got two horses here. He may not get around to this until Year of the Fire Horse, which doesn't come around until February. He could still take a lot of time to sort through this, even if he just got that, you know, psychic conversation and has figured out this is what I need to do. He may sit and mull over this for quite some time. That Hermit can be quite a while, that he's going to be out in the dark and the cold for a while, still mulling over, how do I handle this now? I don't see movement fast, but I do see movement. You guys, thank you so much for being here. Sending you guys lots of love. Thank you again. I have to disappear, or if this video gets any longer, it won't process. But Myra J, Bobby, Dwayne, No Love, Calm Seas, Patricia, Luminous Marina, Empress Unicorn, RT, Annette Summersby, and Awkward Nisha. Thank you so much, you guys. It's so good to see you. All right, hang in there. Hi, Sarwat. I'm going to do the little video clip for our two winners and put that on the other video, and then I will be live for a half hour on this channel. So I'll see you guys in about 15 minutes, and we'll be live for a half hour, and we'll do card pulls. Bye, guys. Thanks for giving us one a thumbs up and subscribing.